Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss the essay National Styles in Cinema by Satyajith Ray. National Styles in Cinema is an essay from the book Satyajith Ray on Cinema. It explores different comparison in cinema with the French cinema and how far we can connect with the Indian cinema and potential. Jean Reyne, French film director, and he was the father of realism. He was searching for suitable location for his film, The River, in Calcutta. He found some flower. It's beautiful, but it was also get in California. But the clumps of bananas, green pond was not at California, so he was impressed with that. And also I tumble on the back of Hooghly, a boat on the river, woman drawing water from the river, sari hanging from the verandas of Bazaar residence, patterns of cow dung on the walls of the village hut. All these things are new to him, so he wants to use it in his film. Cinema is a pictorial medium, so that the atmosphere is important for a good film. He was able to solve it with a comparative ease, was that of selecting the visual element which would be pictorial effective and evocating the spirit of Bengal. By that he select what location he want to capture to audience. By searching for location, Rainier was also search style for his film. He was alien or stranger to India. He could not know about Indian heritage. Only he can do is to took the external aspects and balance by his friend's sensibility. In cinema, as in any other art, the truly indigenous styles can be evolved only by a director working in his own country, in the full awareness of his past heritage and present environment. When the time of silent cinema, all filmmakers of the world formed one large family using the technique of mime, which is more or less universal understood language. They turned the cinema into a truly international medium. With the coming of sound in mime, realistic acting was requirements of the medium, not that stylization had to go. As Chaplin had demonstrated in Monsieur Murdoch's, that an Englishman can make a film about Frenchman in an American studio, a main contribution of sound was an enormous advance towards realism and a consequent enrichment of the medium as an expression of the ethos of a particular country. Then Satyajith Ray says about American film, it's a slick, shallow, diverting and completely inconsequential thing. Its rhythm is that of jazz, its tempo that of the automobile and the roller coaster, and its streaks of nostalgia and sentimentality have their ancestry in the blues and way down upon the Swain River. It's a lyrics. Cinema has the unique property of absorbing and alchemizing the influence of inferior arts. Some African films are good, some more than good. He viewed American film positively. The reason why some notable European directors have failed in Hollywood is their inability to effect a synthesis between the jazz and their native European idioms, which is American in content but completely French in feeling. Then he says about French film, it's rich in absorption of best French culture as painting, poetry, music and literature. The reason is the avant-garde experiment in which apart from filmmakers, writers, painters and musicians were participated. Spirit of experiment persists even in commercial cinema, so that Jean Cocteau takes an touching fairy tale, embellishes with the Dadaist textures and make of it a commercial and artistic success. In Monsieur Vincent, that Vincent spending a night in a French street in a sleep, he was listening the sounds around him. It was only understood by a gleam in his left eyes that showing he was not sleeping. This one scene lasting barely a minute and a half reveals the poetry and subtlety, the humor and the humanity of the best French cinema. The subtlety and emotional candor of the French or the bravo of the American. The British cinema had to go through a particular ignominious period until the war. Then we have had films like Brief Encounter, The Way Ahead, and The Happy Breed is not that of other, hence the frequent falling of fantasy or Shakespeare or Dickens. The extreme form of indigenous style, one may mention the early films of Ukrainian director Alexander Dovzhenko. It mainly have local customs and legend. On the other hand, in the great formalist epic of Sergei Einstein, return to the both and universal gestures of meme. Somewhere between the two extremes, a film like The Childhood of Maxim Gorky evocate of the soul and soil of Russia. Then he says about Indian effort. Apparently, even the external aspect which Rainier was striving after he has not bothered our filmmaker in Bombay has diverse a perfect formula to entice and amuse the illiterate multitude that forms of our film audience. Bengal have no such formula or technical fitness, but Bengal has pretension. But Satyajith Ray say that our Bengali film is not an effort, it's something worse. It's nameless concoction which has a mixture of element, but said as a great art, it is not a cinema as element of clashing and conflict elements refusing to cooperate. In Indian film, background is painting, music and song, numbers artificially in acting. The pity for him that many country opportunity filmmaking but lack of imagination, small optimism for positive. For 35 years silent cinema there is no progress, so we have to look